Good morning and welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, June 3rd. Well, June 4th, sorry. We're already halfway through June, not quite. But I can't believe we're in June already. Um, it's just amazing. I'm just going to give everybody time to get on this morning and join me. I have a fun card. I'm going to do a Backbend easel card. So that's what you're seeing right now on my screen is a Backbend easel card. And there are tips I can give you. I will give you all the measurements. You will find them at stampwithdeb.com to make this exact card. And I am going to change it a little bit today. So, of course I am, right? Always. We can't do the same card twice. So I am going to be highlighting the Gallery Bloom stamp set, which is part of the, what's it called? Let me see, Beautiful Gallery Suite collection. So let me show you what comes in that collection first while we're waiting for everyone to get on. So it comes with the Gallery Bloom stamp set and dies, the bundle. And it comes with the beautiful Moffats. And these cut, I haven't packed my dies correctly yet. So they cut the images as well as some other greenery and stuff. So they're really fun. And there's a couple missing out of there. They're packed for class. And then it comes with the beautiful Moffats, which has some great words. Really pleased with the words that are in this one. We're kind of lacking words this year, I feel like. I have so much glare that I cannot see my screen. Let's see if we can cut a little glare down and not cut all the light out. That's a little better. Okay. So it comes with that. And this die comes with that. And this is a really important part of what we're doing today. So that comes with the beautiful Moffats. It comes with designer series paper. And I'm just going to show you a few of them because the rest of them are packed, getting ready for classes. And so these are some of the papers. You've probably seen lots of cards with this one and with this one. This one's just gorgeous. I love it. And then the backs there's another front and there's another front. So these are what I consider the front because they have the images on them. There's a front, there's a front. So the backs, and then the backs are more like this. This is a back. Yeah, what I'd say is a back. It depends upon what you're looking for, though, whether it's a back or a front, right? Okay, let's go ahead and get started and get this card made. So we're going to start from the beginning because I want you guys to have a reference to come back and look at if you get stuck trying to make it on your own. And so I'm going to start with my paper trimmer, good old paper trimmer. I love my paper trimmer. It is so handy and it's so easy. Once you play with it and you work with it, you get to know it. It's very easy to use. So it's down to 1/16 of an inch. Okay. So today for this card, I want 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we'll cut our 5 1/2 first, just there, and 8 1/4. So I needed to cut off a little bit of that on the edge, just 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to cut that. Okay, then I'm going to score it at 4 inches. We'll move the cutting blade out of the way and bring our scoring blade in at 4. And then I'm going to back up and I'm going to score it at 1 7/8 inch. Okay. I know it's uneven, huh? That's okay. We're going to fold this backwards. And let me grab my bone folder so we get a nice crease here because we want that when we're cutting. My room is such a disaster, as usual on Wednesdays. Wednesday is my middle of the week, and like it is for everybody. And I'm usually deep in something by Wednesday. Planning for a class or cutting for a class or one thing or another. So Wednesdays, my room has a tendency to become a disaster by then. I can't even find a bone folder. And I know I have them. I have tons of them. And I know I had it this morning. So, there it is. Got it. Found it. Sorry about that. Do you guys ever do that? You know it's right there. You've just had it. And where'd it go? But I want to crease this really good. Okay, so we're going to take this, and this is that portion, that small portion. I'm going to put it in my paper trimmer here. Make sure I'm on screen. At 1/2 inch. And I'm going to cut. I have a little squirrel running in outside my window. I'm going to cut at 1/2 inch. I'm going to cut to 1 3/4. So, whoops, let's get our cutting blade up there first. Pulled it off the runner. Okay. I'm going to cut to 1 3/4, which is like 2 little marks before the 1 1/2 inch. So 1 3/4. I'm just going to get there first. That's the important part. Now I'll push back and get a good cut. Okay, and then I am going to flip it over because I want to do the other end just the same. So at 1/2 inch, I'm going to cut to 1 3/4. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it in here at 1 3/4, which that's 1 1/2 is this right along here. So 1 3/4 is right there. And I am going to cut from that 1/2 inch mark at the top, right there, to 5 inches at the bottom. I want to cut that section out. And there it is. Hopefully it all came out. It did. Good. Okay. So now you see I have a hole, right? And we can fold this back and burnish it. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but sometimes when you use this paper trimmer, you get a funny cut line. So you see how this is? This is just kind of funky. Just take your bone folder and just smooth it out. And there we are. I think I got a funny cut line on this side. Yeah, I did. Okay, I think we're done with that. No, I need another piece. I need a piece that is trying to decide if I want to go inside the same color. No, I want a white on the inside. So we're going to cut a piece that is 4 by 10 1/2. I'm going to score it at 5 inches. Okay. 4 by 10 1/2 is scored at 5, and that's going to be our inside. Okay. So I have already die cut the two frames. So that was cut from this frame. And the nice thing is you get these 2 frames. You get 2 frames, not 3. And then there's a centerpiece here that cuts out. That's a really nice centerpiece. Here's one that you could use for anything. I mean, this is just it cut out of the center. Oops, it's not this one. That's a scrap. I know I have a bunch of them in my scrap stack here. There it is. So they've cut out of here, and they're a great size for who knows what. They're just a good greeting size maybe, or a great scrap, if nothing else. Okay, so I think we're all done cutting because we've already done our frames. I do want to score this frame. So the frame is 5 3/8 inches. I want to score one of them, only the one on the inside, not the one on the front. Do not score the one on the front or you'll have score lines on it. And hopefully your flowers will cover it like mine did. So 3 5/8 inches, half of that. So half of 3 is 1.5. And then I change it from 5/8 to 5/16 since 5/8 is not divisible by 2, right? And so I will change it to 16. So I have 10/16. So now I have 5/16. So each of these little marks is a 16. So I'm going to just put it at 1.5 and I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which puts me at the little line just past the 3/4 inch mark. The first line past the 3/4 inch mark, which is actually 13/16. So I'm going to score those at the top and the bottom, that one only. Okay. I do need a window sheet. Where did I lose my window sheets? I have a little scrap around here. Here's one. This will work. Okay. So I'm going to cut this down to 1 inch because it's going to look like a floating greeting. And we know it's 3 5/8 inches across, so we're going to make it 3.5. Okay. Set that aside. And we'll toss that little tiny piece. Okay, I think that is all our pieces that we'll need for this. Okay, so let's get started. I made a total mess of my glue this morning when I did this. So I'm debating on what I want to use. Let me grab my silicone mat, which should be right here. And I really want to use the liquid glue. So I'm going to try this again. See if I can do this without making a complete mess of it. Okay. So I am going to put the adhesive on the back of my white. And this is the inside one. So the one that's scored is the inside frame. I want the outside frame to start with. So I'm just going to put this on here. I'm just thinking. I'm going to put that on there just to start with. Because I am going to cover that part. I'm going to center this. Plus, I'm going to bring it all the way over to the edge. I don't want to see that edge. And I think I've cut this crooked, guys. I think my original card base was cut crooked. So I'm off a little bit down here, but it's never going to show. Maybe it is. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the inside. That went on really nice, didn't it? And I think I want a little glue in here. So I'm just going to put a little bit right along here. Actually, I could go all the way around there because I'm going to attach that one to it. So maybe I'll just go ahead and get that one ready. And that's going to go there. And let's flatten this down so I'm not fighting it. So this is going to go all the way around here. Because I'm going to glue this one in here. And I just want to line up my frame so that it's not showing. Oops. I don't want it. I want it to be invisible. There we go. And that just does two things. It makes my front frame stronger. And it will fold. So now I'm going to fold that over and crease it. And I scored it because I wanted a nice fold and I wanted it to work with me instead of against me. You don't have to score it. I have glue right there. See, not too bad. I didn't do too bad on the glue this time. Okay, so that is attached. Now, oh no, I forgot to put my window sheet in the middle. Of course. Let's see if I can stick it in here. It's not going to let me do that, is it? I have to have my window sheet in there. It has to be. Okay, it's going to go in this side. No. Okay, we're going to just have to pull that up. So where is my spatula? Right? That's what that spatula is for on your, take your pick tool. So I'm just going to flip that around. Mine's dirty. It's got glue on it already. And I'm just going to slip this back and forth until it comes undone. Same thing over here. Just want to go in between those two. And then I'm just going to slip this in. Look at that. That worked perfect. And there's enough glue in there. It's sticky enough that I don't have to re-glue it, I'm sure. Okay, come on. Just finding that opening. Okay, got it in. So if you do that, that's how you can fix it. That was not planned. Let's get it straight. Okay, because we're going to put our sentiment on there. Okay, I have 2 flowers that I've already cut out. I am going to quickly color them with my Stampin' Blends, and I'm using Lost Lagoon Light for these leaves, and I'm not going to do anything fancy on them. I'm just going to color the leaves, and I'll color the flower centers just to give a little pop of color there. Same here. I should probably be using the other end of my pen. The color's better for me. And of course, I'm trying to hurry. You guys don't want to watch me color. Okay. I think there's a little leaf in here. Okay, let me grab the other one and do that. And I'm not giving it a lot of color because I'm not worried about that. I'm going to leave my flowers white. Just want to give it a little pop of color, so it's not plain. And you could put any flowers on here, guys. It's just color here and some color here. Okay, I have Lemon Lolly for the centers, and we'll just give it a little, the other end will show better. Just a little yellow in there. Okay, now when I did this, I said, you know what? It needs some color behind. That's why I changed and went to the Lost Lagoon here. And I like the color on the sides. I like the contrasting colors. So let's put a little bit of adhesive on this corner. Yes, we're going to cover that beautiful image there. And just like that, you just want to watch so your flowers don't go off your card. And we'll put a little bit over here on this corner. If I put it on my flowers, then I'm guessing where it's going to go. Okay, so that's why I put it on there. Okay, I have a little oval. It's really a modern label, a modern oval, what they call it. It's a scoval. It's a square oval. And you guys have heard me use that term before. So this is on crooked, so I need to straighten that up. And I've got a little greeting here that says you've been on my mind. I think this is a great card to just send to someone that you've been thinking of. Not that anything, just you've been on my mind. So let's, I just did something wrong. I put that in the wrong section, guys. You let me do that. This is on the inside of my card, and this should be in here. I'm sorry. When I did that, I totally blew it. this should be in this. I need to get my spatula out again. I grabbed the wrong edge of the card. This goes in here. There we go. See how wonderful that works? I just love this thing for my mistakes. There, let's get that back in there where it belongs now, where it's supposed to be to start with. And let's see if we can get it straight. There, that's better. Okay, now our greeting, all of a sudden I thought, did I put glue on that greeting? Our greeting is going to go on the front of the card. It's going to go on that little piece of window sheet. So let's just attach that. So I really like this with the contrast rather than all white. However, there's no place to write. And if I put my normal layering in here, then you're going to see when you write. And if it was sitting on someone's desk, would you want everybody that was walking by to see what was written on the inside? Or if you pick up the card, you don't want to see the greeting inside. So that's what this, remember when I cut the 4" by 10 and a half? That's what this is for. And I'm going to attach this to the front of it, because then I'll still have my Lost Lagoon color in there. For some reason, I think this is the wrong size. What did I do? Scored it wrong? I did, guys. Boy, I have everything wrong today. What's with me? I probably scored it at 5.5. Okay, let's take the other half of that. We're going to cut it at 4. It's so normal to score it at 5.5. And then score it at 5. Well, no, we're going to cut it at 10 and a half. I cut it at 10 and a half, and I'd scored at 5 1/4, right? So let's just cut off the 1/2 inch. And then let's score it at 5 1/4. Maybe that's what I didn't do. Maybe I scored it at 5. But I just need 1/4 of an inch off on each edge. Okay, let's try this. At least this folds in half. And my DSP is the same size. Now I could make my DSP smaller and put an outline. Okay, this is something I didn't anticipate. So this has to be narrower, or it's going to show on the outside of my card, and I don't want that. So I'm going to cut this down. It's at 4 now. So I'm going to cut it down to 3 and, let's start at 3 3/4. I don't want to cut too much. Let's see how that works. And it's okay top to bottom because there's no extra there. So now when I close it, it'll be even with that. And then when I put this on, you won't see this sticking out the edge. Okay, so let's trim this down to 3 3/4. So we're going to have to change that measurement. So I will change it when I put it on line. Okay, so it's 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And this is one of the papers from the suite. Whoops. Right now we're having a suite sale, SUITE sale. So if you order a suite, you get a second one of your choice at half off. So it's a great deal. So don't miss out. This is one of the suites. So let's just go ahead and attach that. We just want to make sure that that's going to be narrow enough. It is to the inside of my card. So this way, whatever note I write, it's private. There's nothing worse than airing your notes, right? I could have left a little white around the edge of that, and it would have added to it. Okay, so my note is inside. and my card is closed up. And there we are. And it stands, I mean, it's got a floating greeting. I wish you guys could see it this way, but you can't. So it's really a fun card. Thank you for joining me today and helping me through my blunders.